Calvin Castine at Olympic Stadium with John Southwick along with us. And before we head out in the field tonight for this Braves and Expos ball game, we're going to take a little look behind the scenes. We're going to be handing the microphone over to John Southwick, so stick with us.
Hi, John Southwick here talking to Ed.
Ed Steinman.
Ed Steinman. You've been working here for how long, Ed?
I started in 1969.
69.
First game on April the 13th. I remember the day.
So do I. I was here.
You were in the audience, were you?
We sat in chairs at that time, folding chairs. There weren't enough bleachers for people.
I recall the day.
So
when the ground was so soft that we just had some snowstorms, and we had some snow over the right field wall there. People were standing on the snowbanks. You recall those days?
Oh yes, great time. Jerry Park was great, I think. Tell me, we were just talking before you came on board about the anemic small crowds that the Expos have collected in the last year, or maybe in the last few months. Does that mean the demise? Does that mean that the Expos won't be here next year?
Well, that's something we just don't know. I mean, there's no talk about them leaving in any way possible. And, of course, it all depends on the strike, the possible walkout that might happen in November. So I guess there's just no way they can move. We do feel we will be back for another year at least.
Well, that'll make us feel good in the North Country anyway.
Well, it will make me feel good, too, because I'm going to miss it really a lot, because this has been very much part of my life.
Tell me, over the years you've worked with, and that's somebody else we miss, is Dave Van Horn and then the late Russ Taylor.
I knew them both personally.
Great announcers, I thought, didn't you?
Mm-hmm. Oh yes, I knew them so personal, and I had lunch with them, and even Dave I seen down in Florida this year, and he's working with the Marlins. I went to visit him.
Does he announce for the Marlins now?
Yes, he's working with the Florida Marlins at this time.
Well, that's good. Tell me something about this team. As far as quality players, you have at least 3 great players that I think any major league team would like to have. Vasquez, and of course Guerrero and Vidro, and Cabrera too. So you really have, I think, in many positions.
You forgot one. You forgot a good pitcher in Vasquez.
That's what I said. I mentioned him at the beginning.
Oh, did you really mention him?
Yeah. And these are quality players, and you would think that with quality players that would attract a better audience, wouldn't you?
Well, people are just fed up, and we lose all our good players. And when we develop a good player, and after 5 years, they let them go, and they go to free agency and leave the city, and they can see why people are get fed up.
Tell me, over the years, the greatest and most colorful players that you've seen on the Expos.
Well, I gotta say Rusty Staub. I mean, I liked him the best, and I gotta say Andre Dawson.
Right.
And then, of course, was Tim Wallach. The ones that my favorites, my greatest favorite of all was Bob Bailey in the first couple of years.
Right. I remember those, and John Boccabello.
Oh, I sure do.
Coco LaBoy.
I sure do.
And Jonesville. People love to be out in Jonesville.
I guess we both go back a long way, do we?
Yes. So, if you were to pick an all-star Expo team over the years, who would you position?
Okay. First base, I'd say Galarraga. Right. Second base, I don't know who would be a good second base. Maybe Mike Lansing, I guess. Shortstop would be Chris Spire. I used to like a lot. Third base, I always liked Larry Parrish and Tim Wallach. Right. And left field, I like Mac Jones in the first year. I mean, that's one of my favorites. Center field, I say Andre Dawson, and right field right now, Vladimir.
Right.
I think.
And of course, there's some other good players in that outfield, like Valentine.
Well,
he didn't develop, but he was great for a couple of years.
He could have been. He could have been very good.
And the ones that you've lost, like Larry Walker, Canadian player, but
we lost a lot of good ones.
Right. What about managers over the years? Which managers have you?
Well, Gene Mauch is one I liked. I've always liked the ones that started with us in 1969. When I go back that far, these are the ones that are my favorites. I like Gene Mauch.
Of course, Philippe Ballou.
Great, I liked him too.
Yeah,
I liked him too.
Did you understand the move that took place?
Well, I thought they had to stir something up. I mean, the team was going nowhere at all. The team was very dull. And they had to stir something up, get some publicity or so on. Then they had to make a move somewhere along the line. So I do feel that possibly it was the right move at that time. But the team hasn't got any better since Jeff Torborg took over.
No, it's apparent. It's apparent. Tell me some of the greatest opponents that you've seen. What do you recall as some of the greatest players that have played against the Expos?
Well, I got to go back to the Cincinnati Reds in those days with Perez and Concepcion and Al Oliver, and I got to go back to that team. I thought was the best team that I've seen come into Montreal, and of course the Pittsburgh Pirates on the '79. What years they were great? 78, 79, 80, right. And they were fabulous team. And don't forget our team in 1994. We were sensational. We had such a beautiful time here with 35,000 people at every game, and then the strike hit us.
Yeah, that was sad to see that strike come, and it really, it almost destroyed the Expos for years to come, I guess.
Well, let's look at it. It probably did. That had a lot to do with our downfall.
Tell me, do you think that if a new stadium were somehow to develop, would that make a difference?
Oh, it has
in
to
the
make a
attendance?
difference. Yes, it would. It would make a major difference if we got a new stadium. We would get big crowds. And they were always saying we had to sell 18,000 season tickets before they would start to dig. And if they would get that, I mean to say, the first few years it would be, I'm sure we'd get 30 to 40,000 people every game, because we got enough fans in this city. And like I said before, these people are just fed up with what they've done to the team.
I think that's true. I look back to my early days and living in northern New York and watching the Montreal Royals play. They always drew well.
Well, they did the last couple of years.
Right.
They didn't draw well at all. But I remember when we started in '46, it goes back to my time when Jackie Robinson, of course, played. We had really big crowds in those days, 46, 47, 48.
Yeah.
But then the later years, and 1957, 58, we were just getting 500, 600 people a game, and that's all we were getting.
It really fell off.
It fell off. Once the Dodgers left and Montreal became an independent team in those days, it's really fell down. So that's why the team had to leave then. And I never thought we'd ever get baseball back again. And we did in '69.
What do you think there is about this stadium that fans don't like?
I love the stadium. I think we have good. I could see from my vantage point here, and I think it's a lovely stadium. Why people don't like it? Well, they had trouble here with a beam falling down and the roof caving in a couple of years back, and it's indoors. Come summertime, people love to be outdoors, and I think that's got a lot to do with it. But I don't think the stadium is the fault that people are not coming. I just think the people are just fed up with what they did to the team, and how we lost all the real good players.
Of course, the exchange may have something to do with it. The money that can be made by American players in American cities, I guess it's hard to compete up here, is it? Is that a factor?
Well, we got to pay in American dollars. Right. And you say a man's getting $6 million. It's not $6 million to the Montreal Expos. It's $9 million. And our prices here are very, very cheap to get into a ball game. It's only $8 to get into a ball game. And when you look around, they can sit anywhere. And the prices are just great, especially when an American comes in. It costs them $5, and they see millionaire performers on the field.
I agree.
Best value of any sports event is baseball here in Montreal.
Calvin and I were talking about that on the way up today, about the price of tickets, just the whole value, and it's easy to get to. I've never had a whole lot of problem with this stadium. I haven't gone as often here as I used to go to Jerry Park.
Well, come more often. We need the attendance.
Well, it's good talking to you.
Okay, now I just want to show you what my type of job would be. If you just picture the board up there, and that is my board, and it's very simple, like a ball. You see, it goes up there, strike, and you see, okay. And if there's a hit, I just press hit, and see the one goes up there if it's in the air. If there's a run in the inning or something like that, you see a run, or 2 runs, 3 runs. It's a very, very simple job. It's but my whole job is concentration. I got to concentrate on every pitch. And if I look away, if somebody disturbs me, if I miss a pitch, well, some players go with the count on the board. They play different positions if there's two strikes on the batter, and I got to get it right. I've got to get it right. Many times, if I do have a mistake on the board, the umpire will go ahead and signal and say 2 and 2, and I got 3 and 1, and I'll just change it. But some umpires don't even look at the board at all. And if I have a mistake, it just lies there, and the guys have the 2 strikes, and he swings that pitch. Everybody cheers that he he struck out, and he just stands there because the count was only 1-1 instead of 0-2. So my job is strictly in concentration. I have to, follow everything that goes on in the game in order to get the job done right. And I feel over the years I really, really did it well. And I missed only 6 games.
I was going to ask you how many games.
I missed 6 games in 33 years.
That's
never
amazing.
got sick. I never was in a hospital. The only times I missed was family event or something like that, family wedding, a family funeral, and I make sure this is number 1 on my priority that I have to be here.
No, that's good. That's a testament to your dedication to the sport and to the Expos too.
I just love baseball. I'm going to miss it if we're not here anymore. If anybody will miss it, it'll be me.
Hopefully it'll be at least another year, and then maybe a stadium will come about. Maybe we'll have better crowds.
I'm keeping my fingers crossed. Maybe some of Northern New York will come up and buy the team.
We don't have enough fans to support it, but we'll try anyway.
I'll get the people from Plattsburgh or so area to come up here, and then they used to come a lot up here, and we don't see them too much anymore. We used to get a lot of people from a lot of tourists from Northern New York State, and we just don't see them very much. A lot of people did come up in the Boston series.
Oh, yes.
Well, we had 33,000 people. It was an exciting time.
A lot of Boston fans in our area, and of course the Northeast itself.
And
sure.
Vermont, and sure. Oh yeah.
Well, it's good talking. Any questions you have?
Yeah, I just wanted. You probably can't make a living 81 days a year. What you do besides this while you're all these years?
We had a family department store here in the city of Montreal on St. Lawrence Boulevard, which we closed in '91. Business just went downhill, and we liquidated, and we sold the building. And I'm in full retirement now. I spend all my winters in Florida, right near Jupiter, where the spring training camp is. And that's what I do. As soon as the baseball season's over on the 27th, on the 28th, I hit the road and go down south and play some tennis and play some golf. And that's my life from now on. Just got to stay healthy.
How did you happen to get this job in the first place? I mean, this is a plum job, obviously.
Well, I also happen to be a basketball official here in the city of Montreal. I officiate basketball for many, many years, which I'm doing right now in the state of Florida. So it came 1968. There's a fellow by the name of Lou Martin who became our director of operations. And he came from Richmond, Virginia, and he was a basketball referee himself in the Big Ten. And we knew about it, so we invited him to join our board here in Montreal, which he did. And about 5 of us got jobs. And that's how it really came about. And out of those 5, I'm the only one left.
Okay, great. Thanks, Ed.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, man.
Hi, I'm with Mark. What's your last name, Mark?
L'éveillé.
L'éveillé.
L'éveillé, which means in
La
French.
Valley.
Well, not really. It's spelled L-E-V-E-I-L-L-E, and it means to be awakened.
Oh, well,
Awakened.
you gotta wait.
L'éveillé.
Tell us what you do here. What is your job here?
I'm the public address announcer. Been the PA announcer for 7 years now. So basically, I accompany the fans through the game, calling the players when they come to bat, changes, pitching changes, moves, different moves, and little games and contests we have in Olympic Stadium. Been doing that for 7 years and having a ball.
How did you get this job? How did you apply for it? How did you know it was available?
Well, I like telling this story. I work at a radio station, and back then I was working at a radio station here in Montreal, French radio station, and a lady working here, Joanne Roux, that used to work here at the Expos, used to come to the radio station with scripts, commercial scripts, and ask me to do the commercials in French and English, and we would air these commercials, French and English radio stations in Montreal, promoting the Expos games and special events coming up. So I would do that for a couple of years, and one day the PA announcer here left, and they called me up and said, "Mark, would you like to be the PA at Olympic Stadium?" And I said, "Bingo, I want to be there." So I came up an afternoon, and players were on the field, and they said, "Okay, call me that player." And there was Fletcher back then, and Walker, and got the job, and been doing it for 7 years now, enjoying it.
So did you have any competition for the job at that point, or was it just you?
Not necessarily. Well, you know, it's difficult here in Montreal to find someone that speaks English,
Right.
and speaks English and knows the game. And I've been a fan for a long time, since I was young, and followed Rodney Scott and Tim Raines, who's back now, and so being able to speak both languages and knowing the game, I had a good chance to get the job. So that's basically why they offered it to me.
What's the hardest part of your job?
I don't think there's anything hard with the job. When you like the game, obviously you're concentrated the whole game. You have to look at the changes, what's happening. Sometimes there's a pinch runner running from the bench. You have to spot it. You have to follow the game. It's not hard. Nothing's really hard about it. Sometimes at this time of the year, though, teams that will not be in the series call up a lot of players, and that means that often you'll have a lot of changes during a game, like in spring training. And I know you know about that. So a lot of changes, kids coming up. So the manager in September will make a lot of changes during the games. And that's the hardest part. It's not that hard, but basically it's fun, easy job, watching the games and watching young players develop. And that's fascinating. That's what I love the most. I've seen Pedro Martinez develop here. He couldn't throw. I mean, he was hitting players constantly, hitting batters constantly, and we've seen him develop, and unfortunately, he won a Cy Young and left.
Yeah, that's true. What do you do off season?
I work at a radio station right now, our AM station here in Montreal. It's news talk radio station. Been there for a few years now. Always been in radio for 15 years now, and so that keeps me busy. I work days at the radio station also, so when the Expos are in town, I have big days. Start at 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning, and finish at the end of the game here. I have to zoom back from work to here. So I'm in programming. I work programming assistant to the programming director. Take care of the promos, the contests, different shows, and love my job. So I have two great jobs, actually.
Well, that's good that you love your job.
Oh yeah, I love it.
So you don't ever have to anticipate, as I see some of my patients would anticipate retirement. All I think about is retirement. You love your job, so you don't ever have to.
Oh, and I'm a workaholic also. I love to work, and when you love what you do, you don't count the hours. Sure, you're tired maybe after the day, but I love what I do.
You have a family?
I don't have children. There's someone in my life, great girl, and have family, brothers and sisters that live in the Ottawa region. Get to see them often. And baseball fans in the family also. Father comes to the games once in a while. A lot of friends from Ottawa come to the games. A lot of fans all over. We don't have fans in the stands this year. Last year was very difficult also. It's a difficult situation right now. But Expos fans are all over Canada, Maritimes, Quebec, Ontario, Northern United States. But there's a lot of uncertainty, and it's very, very difficult times. It's difficult for the PA announcer. It's difficult for all the employees. It's difficult for the fans. And we just hope the team's going to stay.
Calvin asked me not to ask this question, but I'm going to ask it. What do you think would make for a better attendance, a better just overall atmosphere for the Expos?
There's only one thing, and that's for the fans to know that the team's going to stay long term. If you don't get that, the fans won't come. The fans, they're waving the flag right now. You know, they see no hope, so they're not coming. If ever it happens that a new stadium gets built, it's going to change the whole thing, because people are going to know that the team's going to stay, and not only the team's going to stay, but the good players that you have are going to stay, because you keep on losing players constantly year after year. And you know, when you lose Pedro Martinez and Moises Alou and Larry Walker and Randy Johnson, I mean, the list goes on and on and on. You know, you're a fan. I mean, you can expect how the fan is going to react to that. You know, why would I encourage this team if you keep on trading the players away? So the only thing that will draw the people back is to tell them, look, here's the stadium. We're going to build it in 2004, 2005, whatever, and we're going to be here for at least 25 years. And the baseball, Major League Baseball, is gonna maybe put a salary cap or a revenue share of some sort, because the Expos it's not the only team that's suffering right now. There are many teams that in February and March know that they have no chance to win, to participate in the series. So something has to happen with Major League Baseball, and we need a new stadium downtown. Well, when everything happens. I don't know if you've been here during the Grand Prix weekend, Formula One Grand Prix weekend, or the Jazz Festival. I mean, Montreal is just a wonderful city. I love the city, and people coming from all over, from Europe and the States, say the same thing. It's lots of stuff happening downtown, and put a stadium right there, 2 blocks down, and with no roof. Baseball is made to be played outdoors, and because it is a baseball city. It is. With everything that happened, people are just.
What's the population of metropolitan Montreal about?
I would say close to maybe 2 million. That includes all the little cities around, outskirts, and but people come from Ottawa also. There's maybe 500,000 over there, and Quebec maybe 500,000 also, and northern states. But there are fans, and we have good ratings on the radio and good ratings on TV. As many or more than the Montreal Canadiens. So nobody will tell me that there are no baseball fans. Baseball fans are just not coming anymore because they're waiting. They're on standby.
I guess that's right.
And we're all waiting and hoping.
One thing I wanted to say, John Buckabella.
I've never said John Buckabella before, but Eddie Steinman heard it a few times from
I heard it many times.
Claude Mouton. Claude Mouton, and after that there was Richard Morancy, Alain Rouleau. After that came here, and I'm now with a new generation. Vasquez, I got right fielder, that's not too bad either. That slender, tall Guerrero guy. And Cabrera, we got Cabrera there, and Tony Armas, also a great pitcher. Eddie forgot to tell you about Tony Armas.
I didn't ask him, but
We got Armas and Pavano from the Red Sox for Pedro Martinez. So we have great players, but Buckabella is gone.
All right, we've come out to the field now, and Braves are just going through the latter part of their batting practice. It's the third game of the homestand that we're here. As I said earlier, John Southwick here along with me on this Wednesday evening, September 5th, 2001. We want to bring you a little bit of the behind-the-scenes stuff, talking to the man who's been running the scoreboard right from day one. It's an amazing career, right, John?
It certainly is. I missed only 7 days, 7 games, and all those times, and never from illness. So his doctor didn't make a lot off him.
No, at least not during the season.
No.
And our announcer, we're going to have one more when we get back up there. We're going to talk to the DJ. You don't think of a DJ when you come to a ball game, but obviously the DJ is an important part of the ball game now, and we're going to find out a little bit about him. Let's look at today's batting order. A couple of familiar names are not in the lineup tonight, John. Javi Lopez and BJ Surhoff not in the lineup for the Braves. Braves, I think they're in 3 games ahead of the Phillies right now.
That's right.
Taping this. So they're battling, and they finally taken the lead. But if you look at the Braves team off season, and I looked at the Expos off season, and I really thought the Expos were going to were challenged this year. I think pitching has been their downfall, but looking at them on paper during the winter months, I thought the Expos would be in the thick of things at this particular time. But coming into today's game, the Braves had the best ERA in the National League at 3.58, while the Expos are toward the bottom, not on the bottom, but toward the bottom with a 4.71 team ERA. And the pitcher they got going against the Expos today, John, has the best road ERA in the National League, John Burkett.
That's right. And he has so, and he's also given up fewer walks and fewer home runs than many other pitchers.
So in addition to the players that we usually think of when we think of the Braves as far as pitching, names like Maddox and Glavine, and now Schmaltz is coming back. He's getting healthy. Burkett's having a fine season this year, and when you get to the playoffs, if you've got 3 strong starters, you're in good shape.
That's right.
The Yankees have proven that the last several years, that the pitching is what's going to win. Key hitting, of course, but pitching is what's going to win you that championship. And the Braves should be challenging. Although when you look at their lineup, batting-wise, they're not much different than the Expos have. They have a couple power hitters. The Expos have a couple good hitters. The difference, I think, between these two clubs is basically on the pitching rubber.
That's right. In fact, the Braves have had a little bit of a lean year from Andrew Jones, and P.J. Suroff hasn't really hit as well as he should have this year, but he's done well. Chipper Jones has done okay. Ryan Jordan is starting to come into his own after an injury, so they'll be all right.
Coming into today's game, the Expos have the 3rd worst total for runs scored at for runs scored at 574. They've allowed 693, but the team with the 4th worst total for runs scored is the Atlanta Braves. So they've scored 613 compared to the Expos 574. So the Braves aren't scoring a lot more runs than the Expos, but they're at the opposite end of the spectrum as far as the Eastern Division standings. The Braves come in here with a 260 batting average for the team. The opponents have a 250 batting average. The Expos come in here with a 253 team batting average, but their opponents have hit 271 against them. So that's a big difference. John, our 2 interviewees earlier mentioned the relatively poor, well, not relatively, very poor attendance. We look in the outfield right now. The Braves are taking batting practice, and I don't think between the right field and left field bleachers that there are 30 people up there. And this is a chance to catch a ball at a ball game, which is something that is highly prized in some circles.
That's true, and we're 35 minutes before the start of the game, and you would expect at least some people to be out there, as you said, to some home run balls. There are probably 15 people out in the right field bleachers, and as Calvin said, maybe 25 or 30 in the left field bleachers.
Now we're coming here, hopefully we won't better last night in a negative way. We're coming here a day after the Expos pulled in about 3,600 people last night. Usually when you talk about attendance at a ball game, you're used to saying 36,000 or more. 3,600 approximately here last night for the Braves and the Expos. It's incredible how much interest in the Expos is waning at the moment. And
our experts say that that's due to being held in hostage or on hold, meaning that the Expos may or may not be here next year, so the fans just aren't going to support. They blame a lot on the stadium, but I don't hear that being as a convincing a statement as the fact that the powers that be that run the club just don't seem to be enthused enough to keep the team here. Or maybe they will, maybe they won't.
Well, it's going to be very interesting as we get to October and into early November when the current contract runs out with the players. Contraction has been bandied about for the last year. The more we hear about it, the more we're hearing that the Players Association is dead set against that, so that might not be a possibility. You hear one day you hear it read in the paper that the Expos are definitely not going to be back. Then the next day you hear from another writer that the Expos definitely will be back. So there's nothing certain in this situation. And at this point, I think we'll be lucky if we do get one more season. And I would be doubtful about that next season, and I would be a lot more doubtful about beyond there, unless they do, like was mentioned up the stairs, come up with some kind of revenue sharing where the rich teams can share some of their gate with the teams with the smaller markets. And there's no question that you put a winning team on this Montreal field, the fans turn out.
I think that's true. You have to put a winning team on, and you have to keep that winning team. And revenue sharing might be one way to keep the Pedro Martinez, to keep the Walkers, all the players that they've lost over the years that certainly would make up an all-star team if you were to put them all in one team.
Okay, we're going to probably pick up on our visit here today with our interview with the DJ, which should be coming up very shortly. And hopefully after the ball game, we'll be able to listen in on maybe a manager or one of the players talking about what happened during the ball game today.
Oh. Hi, it's John here. What's your name?
Vince. My name is Vince. Vince Aubry.
Tell us what your job is here.
Well, I'm the musical director, you could say. Just play all the music you hear, the organ, the hand claps, all the sound effects you hear at the Big O. I'm the one who plays them. Play all the songs for the players too. I pick the songs. Sometimes they pick the songs. That's mainly my job.
How long have you had this job?
This is my third year at the Expos, yeah.
Did you see an opening, apply for the job, or just how did it come about?
I was working downstairs in another department, entertainment department, and I heard that the other guy was leaving, quitting his job. So I said I want to do that job. I was coming to the stadium since I'm like 10 years old. So for me, it was a big dream come true. Just to be here every day for me, that's the best. Just to see all the games. I'm a big fan.
What do you do in the off season?
Not much. I work in clubs. Still play music. I work on the Kristen Street. So that's fun. But that's my main job, I would have to say.
Tell us about the individual players and what their favorites are.
Well, I would have to say that the most weird player we had was Brad Fulmer. He didn't want any music at all. If you would play a song, he would call you right back. How come you play a song? I don't want any songs. I need to concentrate. And it was pretty weird. Now, for the last 3 years, since I've been here, a lot of Latin players. So we play a lot of salsa, merengue for the Guerreros and the Cabreras, Vidros. A lot of merengue. Guys like Stevens, they still go with the good old rock. He's from Texas, so it's big rock, Mordecai, rock. The team is divided into, I would say, rock and Latin music. But it's fun.
When you have a play that you want to either make some noise or say something or over the, what do you do? Are there things that you really enjoy doing? If somebody strikes out or somebody that hits a home run?
I love the strikeout because it's a big boxing bell, Maybe we'll have a chance to hear it. We're not pitching. I like the home run song because it's always a good news when you hear that song. There's something happening. But the strikeout, or I love it when someone hits. I love it. Way of speaking. When someone hits Vlad, because then we play something like Clint Eastwood, "Go Ahead, Make My Day," or try to pump the players up. Trying to do two things at the same time.
Do your job first.
Buff. And the most difficult thing would be to, like games we lose, 11, 12, nothing. Those are pretty long, because we're trying to hype up the crowd to put a party feeling in the place. And like yesterday we had 3,000 people, a little bit more, but it was very hard. Those games are very long, and I don't get it. Especially it's the Braves, they're first in their division. We should have at least 12, 13,000 people. But no, they're waiting for hockey season, and they're missing something big. 'Cause
If you have an opposing player that comes in and might be a little bit of a hot dog, and he makes an error or something, do you have to hold back, or do you let him have it some way or another?
oh no, I have, like we say in French, carte blanche. How do you say that in English? Carte blanche. It's carte blanche, eh? So I'm allowed to play almost anything I want. Like when John Rocker came, I didn't really like what he did, you know. And
Nobody did.
So I played a song called What I Am. I'm not aware of too many things. I know what I know, if you know what I mean. But there's only like 2-3 players I really don't like, so I reserve them special songs. I'm not sure they're aware of it. It's just, for me, it's a big rush. Like I said, when someone hits Vlad, then I'll play, I'll get back to that guy. Like the Mets. I hate the Mets, by the way, sorry, you know, but... I hate more the Yankees, though, but...
The man behind the camera is not going to enjoy
I love the
that.
Red Sox, though. No, I mean, you have to respect the Yankees. It's like the Montreal Canadiens, except they still win, though. But too much money, it's hard to compete against those teams, you know. There's like 5-6 teams, and you know from the start of the season who's going to make it, and that's what I don't like right now.
Well, that's fine. You really enjoy your work, then.
I love it. I love my job. I love baseball.
Okay.
I hope we keep them.
We do, too.
Gonna knock on wood, and we'll see next year.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Calvin, any
No, just
further questions?
what else? Who are your neighbors up here? What's everybody else doing up
This is
here?
Catherine. She's been here
29 years?
29 years.
Oh, she doesn't look that old. So your job is?
I display all the information on the matrix board.
Uh-huh.
I put the format up, and Bertrand at the end, he does the statistics. He scores the game directly into the computer. So I do the animations.
Do you do the animations?
Yeah, some of the animations and commercials, all that sort of stuff. So I was at Jerry Park originally.
You were at Jerry Park. Great place. Great
That
place.
was fun. Yeah.
Yes, it was fun.
And who's your favorite player of all time?
My all-time favorite player? Expos, Mike Jurgensen. Yeah. That's
I'll
a
be
long
darned.
time ago. eh?
Yes, but good ball player.
Yeah.
Steady, good
From
ball
the
player.
Mets. Yeah.
From the Mets.
And
I guess I'd have to say Sammy Sosa. Yeah.
Oh,
it's a good pick.
good pick is right. Okay, thank you very much.
Stevens is now hitting sixth, but he's getting the big hits that we were expecting from him when he was batting fourth or fifth.
Yeah, when we went on that road trip, when we left here after that blowout we had, that 17-4 football score, we decided that I wanted to fool around with the lineup just a little bit to change it, just change the roles a little, and slid Lee back a little, maybe take a little pressure off him, you know, hitting behind Vladdy, and boy, he's been hot ever since he's hit in that spot, so we've stayed with it. The only changes we've made have been in the leadoff spot and the 8th spot. And of course, one game where Michael didn't catch. But we've generated a little bit, and of course, it's amazing, our leadoff hitters, when they get on, you remember when we got hot in July, it's when Peter was so hot, and then when we went on that road trip, Tim Raines was the one that got us going. He started to be the catalyst, and then Terry today got on immediately. It was a nice sign. We scored that first inning as a result after that bunt, so. And then that was a big pinch hit. That guy can still hit. That is amazing.
How about a guy like Vladdy at 25 with already 500 runs batted?
I can't say that I'm surprised at anything I see with his numbers or what he does. He's an amazing athlete. The guy at shortstop is an amazing athlete, too. He has made some defensive plays that are just, I'm not sure I've ever seen too many guys make consistently. He does it all the time. He's amazing. You know, it's nice to get some runs, you know. Playing it awful close to the vest puts a lot of pressure on the bullpen and the starters, for that matter.
What is your plan for the leadoff spot for the remainder of the season? 8 guys in the leadoff. Is it almost like a rotation between 3 guys down the stretch possible?
Well, I'd like to see how much Rock can play. And we're trying to get Peter unwound. And Terry now is back. He gives us that nice ability to run and a switch hitter. He's a leadoff type hitter. So, That's a good question. I'm not sure how we're going to do it exactly, but I would like to get Rock in there as much as we can. So I check with him every day to see how he's feeling. We talk about it even the night before. I just don't want to push him too hard on this stuff on the turf.
The runs really do trickle down from that spot in the order, though. It seems like when the leadoff guy's getting on, you're scoring runs.
Well, you know, the 2 best hitters on the team, or the 3 best hitters on the team, come right after that, you know, and if they're hitting with runners on, a lot of times you talk about protecting a hitter behind them. It's when the guys are on in front of them, all of a sudden it makes them tougher hitters too, you know, so it opens holes, and also they get more fastballs to hit, and the whole schmear. So yeah, I would like to see that continue somehow.
Jeff, you talked about the team coming back and not getting panicky when you're falling behind. What about today? You had a lead and worked on the Braves, and all of a sudden it's 6-4. And I mean, were you heartened to see that we were able to pile it on? And really turn it
Yeah, it really was. But again, you know, we had a heartbreaker yesterday, and what
Good control and stuff, good cutter and change up, and we had our work cut out for us. We got some breaks, and got a really lead.
How important is it to win after last night?
At this point, it's important to win every game, but yeah, you hate to get swept. You know, we're a home series, so it's nice to bounce back and just take this one, and hopefully we can play well against Philly.
So the emotional factor of the loss last night.
Yeah, that was a tough one last night, obviously, but we've done that a lot this year. This team comes back and we bounce back quickly, and last night was over. And, we didn't come in tonight thinking about last night, but we came in tonight with more intensity, and we were able to win tonight.
Today about getting dropped down into the 6th spot right around the time before you went out to the West Coast, while you were packing it, as you said before you left. What does it do to you getting 6th? What does it change? What dynamics change? You've seen different kinds of pitches and situations different for you.
No, I haven't seen really a lot of different pitches. I think it's just a different place, a different look, and it's just worked out so far. It's great. As long as I'm 1 through 9, I don't care where I'm at. But my job's to go out there and around and do my job. But it's worked out well right now, so it feels comfortable.
Another small crowd tonight. So a bit of noise from Reyes. Is that double?
Well, I mean, he's a legend here, and he should be. That's for him to come through like that and battle it that bad and get 2 more RBIs for us, it was big. And the fans appreciate him and what he's done for Montreal and for the Expos. And that's the way it should be.
Calvin Castine at Olympic Stadium, September 18th, 2001. It's been exactly 1 week ago today that the World Trade Center was destroyed by terrorists. The Pentagon was attacked by terrorists. And yesterday, on Monday, was the first game back for Major League Baseball. Baseball took a week off in honor of the situation. However, the fans in Montreal apparently decided to take a little more than a week off. Last night's attendance, official attendance, was about 3,100. Actual attendance was at least half of that, if not less than half of that. We've heard estimates on the actual crowd last night of being from 900 to 1,500, which is a remarkably low turnout for a Major League Baseball game. The Florida Marlins are here in town. The Florida Marlins are about 6 games ahead of the Expos in the National League. In the East Division, Marlins are in 4th, the Expos are in 5th place. And any hope that the Expos have for continuing has got to be diminished when a crowd like that, or actually you can't use the word crowd, but a turnout like that results on a day when people are showing that they want to get back to normal life, and nobody shows up here at Olympic Stadium. And this is a Wednesday afternoon, Wednesday evening. John Zerlo is here with me. We have one other person here in the stands in right field. Over in left field during batting practice.